And we're live.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Two Dum Yinzers. This is episode 84. 84, Mike D. Antonio Brown
Yes.
installment. How are you today, sir? How was your weekend, man?
Oh, man, my weekend was amazing, dude.
It was?
It was, dude. I went to a zoo, man. We went up to the Cleveland Zoo just because the Pittsburgh Zoo was closing early, and I had to work. So we went up to the Cleveland Zoo, and it was amazing.
That's awesome, man. Did you get to see all the animals?
Yes. We made it just in time to see all the animals before closing. A couple cool things, dude. Like they had the black rhino.
Yeah.
And like his enclosure was like kind of down, and you're up looking at him. And people left, and we were the only two there. And he kind of walked up, and this was like 2 feet away from us. Like if we were at the same level, I could have reached over the fence and pet him.
Yeah.
He probably would have gored my, with his horns, took my hand off, but it would have been worth it. Like I was half tempted to like lay down on the ground, see if I can reach my hand under the fence, then over the couple, like about the foot of concrete to see if I could reach down and pet him. But there was, I would have been kicked out of the zoo.
Trying to give him a hand job, or what's that all about?
Hey, what me and the black rhino do is no one's business except for me and him. Yeah. So that was cool. Later on, we did like the African savannah part, and we get to the lion part, and there's just us and a couple other people there, and the big lion, male lion, he comes up walking, he's patrolling, and then he gets up on his rock and he just roars at everyone. It was like the first time in my life I've ever seen a lion roar, other than on TV or something like that. It was like I was like, this is badass. He roared about 4 or 5 times, then he just like, nah, fuck it, laid right back down.
Well, what was it?
A lion. He just like,
oh, hell no.
Yeah, I was like, he was pissed.
Did you see his big lion balls?
Unlike you, I don't concern myself with the size of balls of animals. That's your area of expertise, fondling their balls. Although, I'm not gonna lie though, when we saw the elephants, I was trying to look at the size of their big old twig and berries.
Yeah.
You can just imagine getting teabagged by one of those from an elephant ball. They knock you the fuck out. How'd he die? Oh man, he got teabagged by an elephant.
That's I don't want to ruin it, but we do have a funny story later on in the show. It's kind of similar to that, so I'll come back to that.
Okay.
But it's very funny that you said that, so just keep that in mind.
All right. Yeah, so those were cool to see. We like the wallabies, watching them like hop around and just seeing how muscular they are.
Yeah.
Like, and then like I think we saw the gorillas first, then we went down to the Australian part. And the gorillas were cool, they're so fucking jacked. Well, one was like he plopped down on a rock. I thought he's gonna sit there. He starts shitting all over the place. I'm like, hey man, you gotta go. But like it got stuck. And he just like reaches his hands down, grabs and just yanks it out, and then brings his hand up to his mouth and starts sniffing it and just walked away. So
I seen a video the other day where this guy, there was just like a corner. It was a video, and it was like a block corner. And all of a sudden, you see this guy. He comes running around the corner as fast as he can, and his feet fly out from underneath him, and he falls. And then after that, like 2 seconds later, you see this kangaroo that was chasing him.
Shit.
And the guy goes to stand up, and the kangaroo's like, boom, boom, boom. Dude, he popped him in the head like 3 fucking times. The guy dropped. I thought, where the fuck am I? I've never seen nothing like that.
I would never go to Australia. Anything could beat you the fuck up.
Yeah.
And those kangaroos, dude, they are just solid muscle.
Exactly.
So that's like we saw the gorillas and we saw the kangaroos. I'm like, I would like to see a fight between these two.
Right? Just kangaroos, they ain't no joke, man.
No, like their legs are powerful. They can kick you with your legs. They can box you. Gorillas are just nothing but pure muscle and strength too. That'd be a good fight.
Absolutely, man.
So
that was the boxing bell.
I thought I was what the hell's digging over at his place. But yeah, the zoo was fun. It was a blast. I like going to zoos. Hopefully later in the summer I can make it down to the Pittsburgh Zoo. I want to make it back to the Cleveland Zoo. or I mean the Columbus Zoo, maybe even down to the Cincinnati Zoo, because that's apparently the best zoo in America now.
Yes, that should be a good one. Everyone keeps talking about how great the Cincinnati Zoo is, man.
Yeah, but that's a drive though. That's like a 2-day event.
Right.
And I don't have that in me.
No.
I'm old. Like that Saturday wore me out. I got back to my place at like 8:30ish, I think, and I passed right out.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, I woke up at like midnight to get to work and just went the whole day nonstop. It was worth it though. It was a damn good time. Highly recommend going to a zoo.
Now that was on Saturday.
Yeah, it was Saturday. Yeah.
Cool.
And the time flew by too. Like I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh my god, it's 4:30. We got like a half hour to get out of here before they lock us in with the animals.
Yeah, that ain't a far stretch for you. They'll put you right in the monkey cage.
They probably would have too. Look at this hairless ape.
Oh, it is Monday, Mike.
Yes.
You know what that means? That means we can talk a little sports today and get away with it. Not have anybody giving us any shit.
Fuck them.
The Pirates, they go 0-4 through the weekend. Remember they had the big 4-game series against the Braves. Yes. So on Friday night they lost 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday they lost 10-4. And then yesterday they lost 5-3. So that's 6 in a row. They lost both games to the Tigers and then all 4 games to the Braves, which drops the Pirates to 10 games under 500 to 24-34. Leaves them still 3 games out in the division, 8.5 games behind the Cardinals. Coincidentally, we travel to St. Louis for a 4-game set against the Cardinals starting tonight. The Cardinals are 34-27 to get first place in the division, 8.5 ahead of us. Game starts at 7:45. Make sure you tune in to see the Pirates do what it is that the Pirates do,
which is lose terribly.
The Mike, big news for you. The Tampa Bay Lightning are three-peat bound. They have won the other night. They won on Saturday 2-1 against the Rangers. Catapults them into the Stanley Cup Finals for the 3rd year in a row. This year it's against the Colorado Avalanche on Wednesday night. You'll be able to see that first game 1 at 8:00 on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions for this first round, Mike?
Oh God,
Stanley Cup run. I'm sorry.
I'm going Tampa in 7.
Tampa in 7?
Yeah, I'm thinking 7 games. Just the way that both teams are playing, it can be. And I was just looking at the schedule of where it is. Colorado has home ice, but I think Tampa will pull it out in 7. Which, it would suck because they would trump the Penguins, but it would be kind of cool to watch, a new dynasty come out. It's always fun to watch a new dynasty form because then you have to pick sides. Like, okay, am I going to begrudgingly root for them or am I just going to hate them? So this is going to be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding, and these 2 teams are very good. These teams are usually very good. I don't think that you could have asked for a better finals.
No. The
Tampa Bay Lightning at the Colorado Avalanche at the Avalanche game 1, like you said, Colorado does have home ice advantage. I'll take. You said you'll take the Lightning in 7. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the. I'll take the Avalanche in 6. I am only taking this pick because I don't want to see. Again, I don't want to see Tampa Bay do the 3 years in a row. That kind of one-ups the Penguins, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go Tampa Bay in 6 over Colorado.
I think it's going to be, like I said, no matter what way it goes, I think it's going to be a very close series.
It's going to be a great series, I think.
Oh yeah, it's going to.
Might be one game that probably doesn't have the score that reflects how great the series is. I think you're going to see 3-1s. You're going to see 5-4s. You might see that one game somewhere in the middle where a team wins 4-1, or I think this is going to be a really good series. If you like hockey, I think you're in for a good one with this one. And even if you're not really into hockey and you're just trying to check it out and and test the waters, this is a good series for you to do that because these are two very good teams. You're going to see top-notch hockey, I think, here in the Stanley Cup final round.
Yeah, they're skilled teams. They play fast. They're not going to goon it up. They're not going to like cheap shot like the Rangers did or the Capitals do. You're going to see very entertaining hockey. Tampa has the slight edge in goal, but I think overall it's going to be so much fun to watch. Evenly matched teams. You have the Tampa Bay, who's been there, done that twice already. Colorado, who's first time they've been in the finals since the 90s, 2000s when they had those stacked teams. So it's been a while. It's could be Nathan McKinnon finally getting over the hump, winning a Stanley Cup. Stamkos going for 3 or 4 Stanley Cups. So it's going to be fun. So many storylines, and they're all positive storylines. There's no one really to hate. There's no one to hate in this series.
Right.
But you figure though, after game 1, each team will find someone to hate.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why playoffs are so fun. Like these long drawn out series, like you go in respecting your opponent, then boom, after that first game, you already have people that you hate.
Right.
Even you go in their series respecting them, and you're like, no, this guy's a piece of shit. I hate him.
Like the guy with the Rangers. What's the guy at the Rangers?
Trouba.
Yeah, Trouba.
He's a clown.
Now, I seen something the other day where he remember we were talking about that hit last week. He actually whiffed. They showed the video, and I seen the video, and he tried to knock this guy's head off.
Yeah,
but he whiffed, which I thought made it even better.
Clown.
Yeah. So a lot of hockey fans are glad to see this guy out of the playoffs, the Rangers out of the playoffs. It's something that I've noticed on social media. So like you said, I mean, you're just going to see 2 top-notch hockey teams playing in this round. And you know what? For the game of hockey, what more could you ask for?
Exactly. That's what hockey needs. Hockey needs to showcase its skill, its speed, and hard hits are part of the game, but clean hard hits are part of the game. Where both guys, you get hit hard, and the other guy who got hit just gets up and skates away because he knows it was a clean hit.
Right.
And you're like, all right, shit, man, I put myself in that position. You did your job. All right, let's, just move on. No one throwing high elbows, no one head hunting, no one going after your knees. None of that nonsense.
Yeah. You know me, I always like to stick with my Northeastern teams for the most part. Here we have a team from Florida and a team from out west. So that's a little bit outside of my area of interest. I will be watching because I think that it's interesting. I said, I think it's interesting that Tampa Bay's in there going for its 3rd title run in a row. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see if they could pull that off or if Colorado could finally stop this team.
And I think if Tampa wins, it would be the first 3-peat champion since the Islanders in the 80s.
That sounds right.
That the Penguins were the last team to win back-to-back since the Red Wings in the early 2000s.
Okay.
So this salary cap era, it's the Penguins in Tampa Bay with a lot of wins, and then LA and Chicago, they've been the 4, what's that? 5 franchises, no 4, learn to count, Mike, learn to count, that have been the kings of the NHL.
Now the you know who I really like in that whole thing. Now, I don't like my out west teams, but I really like the Kings, and the Kings kind of fall in that category. I forget who we were talking about just recently. It was in another sport. You have this one team that they have, they win this championship out of nowhere. And then the next year they're they're not that great. You're like, okay, well, this team had their championship. That was fun. And then 2 seconds later, that team pops up again in the finals, wins again. I like those kind of teams. I don't know what it is about them. They just kind of keep popping up. They're not this great team. They're not a team that everybody talks about. They're just a team that just every other year they show up and get it done. I like that. I wish it wasn't the Kings because, again, I'm not a big West Coast team. However, I think that's neat in any kind of sport,
Yeah, like that team that comes out, like you said, comes out of nowhere, wins. You're like, oh, that's a fluke. Then the next year, haha, see, proved it. And then they come back again. You're like, okay, maybe they're not a fluke. And then they had a good run, but now them in Chicago, man, after that run, it's been downhill. And Penguins fans, that can be your future right there. It's going to be depending on what happens this offseason and the next, we can be some dark times.
I'm glad that the Blackhawks are done. I wasn't a big
Me
fan
too.
of that whole Chicago thing either.
No. Like,
so that's nice to have them out.
Yeah.
Out of the,
Patrick Kane and Taves, everyone was trying to say, oh, they were better than Crosby.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Who's still
for a while? It didn't seem like it was going to end. It was like back to back. You know, it was like, I forget what it was, but it was like every year
between those two. It was like I think like LA Chicago is what it felt like.
Yeah, right. In the NBA, Mike, the Warriors and Celtics are tied 2 games apiece. Tonight is game 5, 9:00 back in Golden State. 2 games apiece. Where are you at now in the series, man?
I'm still holding with Golden State, but I don't know. I'm starting to lose confidence. But
you know what? It's a better series than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I'm not really. Neither one of these teams I'm really thrilled about. Just in general, they're not my teams. But it's going to be fun. The last 3 games should be fun. To this point, 2 games apiece. It's a series. They got a series.
Yeah, it's good. It could go down to like I said, it seems like they're alternating wins, and that's going to favor Boston. Like Golden State needs to win this one to disrupt the flow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I miss my Lakers.
What's that?
I miss my Lakers.
Oh, them Lakers. Jeez, oh, man. Couple other things I came across. Juju with one final farewell to Pittsburgh for a fundraising event this weekend. As much as we I don't think we badmouth Juju. I mean, we just
I'll badmouth Juju all day long.
I don't talk him up like a lot of people do. Now, one thing that I do like about this guy, and it really is none of my business because again, I watch the game for football. I like this guy. I don't know. The guy, he could have been long gone. He could have been on his way. He could have been in Missouri, unpacking in his new big house, having sex with his I don't know, whatever. But here he is. He makes a point to come back and have one last final farewell with Pittsburgh. You know what? At the end of the day, he was a good Steeler. He was an average player at best, in my opinion. But as far as being a person, I liked him in Pittsburgh. I thought it was pretty cool that he decided to come back and do this one last farewell to the Pittsburgh fans. So many people we see in sports these days, a lot of guys are assholes. A lot of guys leave on bad terms. A lot of guys have problems. You know what? This guy was nothing but I thought he was a pretty decent person while he was in Pittsburgh. I wish him all the luck in Kansas City, just not enough luck to beat us.
I wish him another separated shoulder. I wish him nothing but terrible things. He's a me type of guy. He doesn't do anything without a camera present. When he magically, lady in front of me, she couldn't pay her grocery bills. So, don't worry, I'm here to pay for it. But don't mind my whole camera crew that's here. And obviously it's not staged. And that whole bike incident, everything about this guy is planned down to the minute details. Everything is staged. It's all for social media presence. That's all it is. He's me. But he does it with a smile. So everyone's just like, oh, yeah, he's fun, loving guy. He's on TikTok. He does this, he does that. It's all manipulative. But hey, I give him credit for it. It works. I'm not, I'll knock it, but hey, it works. It's working for him. Good job. I'm not gonna hate him for that. I'm just gonna hate him because I think he's just, selfish prick. And he is a tough player. I'll give him that. He will go across the middle, but he's, like you said, average at best. But I think he'll have a good year just because Patrick Mahomes will make him have a good year. You can't be a receiver on that team and not have a good year.
Right. Yeah,
but good riddance to bad rubbish.
Like the guy as a person, I wasn't too fond of him as a player. But you know what? Like I said, let's see what he does in Kansas City. I think that and also he's gonna have a quarterback that's gonna be able to throw to him. In the past couple of years, you haven't had that with Ben Roethlisberger. That
didn't hinder Deontay Johnson though. Deontay Johnson was still putting up monster numbers with Ben and his noodle arm.
like I said, you know what? I have to go back and just watch last year. I don't know how, and I see the numbers. He had over 1,000 yards or whatnot. I missed it. I must have missed his 1,000 yards. He had a couple games where he had some big plays, but you know what? To be honest with me personally, I'm going to just have to go back and watch where the hell he got all of his yards, because how the hell that guy got 1,000 yards?
Kind of like when Cam Hayward got all of his stats against scrub teams.
Yeah, right.
Boom, shots fired against Cam Hayward. Like he cares what I have to say. He's like, what? He's like, what's this fat white guy got to say?
So now I came across something else. So Mitch Trubisky took Chicago to the playoffs. He not only took the Chicago Bears to the playoffs, he took the Chicago Bears to the playoffs twice, Mike. Two times in his short career.
Yeah.
I think that, you know what? I think that ultimately this guy is probably going to get the starting nod for day one because of his experience, because he took a team like Chicago to the playoffs 2 times. Any other guy's a rookie, which I have no problem with that. If Trubisky can come in and have a productive season. But, if they use him right, if you could take a Chicago Bears team to the playoffs twice, hopefully that he could bring the same kind of magic here to Pittsburgh, right?
I hope so. And that's what, like, when they signed him, I wasn't really high or really down on it. It's like, all right, this guy, he has some experience. I started looking into it more and more, and it's like, oh yeah, he, like you, when I finally looked into it, I was surprised that he made it to the playoffs twice with that team.
Yeah.
And that would, for what they put around him and stuff, that's impressive. He had, I'm not going to take away, he had some damn good receivers. Like Allen Robinson's one of the best receivers in the league. Dude's silky smooth.
But the Bears,
but the Bears overall, no, they weren't that good. There's a reason they were able to draft him number 1 overall, because they sucked.
Yeah.
So.
And this kid was good in college. I'm an ACC guy, obviously, because Pitt's in there. I've got to watch this guy play in college. He was as close to dominant as dominant could be in college. And then, like I said, he could go to bring the Bears to the playoffs for 2 years. I like, really, it could be a lot worse. The situation could be a lot worse. You have this guy, let's say we start him day one, whether he's successful or whether he's not, you have a guy behind who's fighting just as hard for that position. So I think you're going to see success from the quarterback position this year, just because these guys are trying to prove themselves. You know what I mean? It's not like you just have the winning thing, and but you have the winning thing, and also you have 2 guys that are trying to one up each other, become that guy. And I think as a result of that, you're just going to see better football at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and like the thing, like that kind of works against Trubisky, and it's not his fault. He was the first quarterback drafted in that draft class that had Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl winner and a league MVP. So you're kind of graded. He's unfairly graded on a curve. It's not his fault that he was picked first overall. It's not his fault the Bears kind of screwed him over, put him in bad situations that he had to overcome.
Right.
But like in hindsight, yeah, even like when he was drafted number 1 overall, people were kind of shocked. They thought like it might have been Lamar or Mahomes, the first quarterback taken. But it's just, looking at his career in a vacuum, where he was picked, he does kind of look like a bust. But if you look at it overall, just the team that he was placed on and what he was able to do, he's an average quarterback. I think with this team, that's, if he can play average or above average, that's going to be enough to get a winning record and hopefully a playoff spot.
And I urge everybody to go and pull up some Mitch Trubisky tape, because the guy is not bad. I think that a lot of people are going off of hearsay in Pittsburgh. Go ahead and pull up some video of this guy. And like you said, he probably wasn't the best quarterback drafted in that draft. Obviously, you got guys like Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. But you know what? For what he is, I think a lot of people were saying if he could just be average. Now, again, I can't help but keep going back to taking the Chicago to the playoffs for 2 times. 2 times in his first 3 seasons, 4 seasons, something like that.
So
that's, to me, impressive. And then we're bringing him into an accomplished organization who prides themselves on winning. So, which I don't think Chicago is much of that kind of a team. If they are, they're really bad at it. So I want to see him in this organization where he's expected to win, where we have things in place to be a winning team. I'm very excited about Trubisky. I don't think people are going to be disappointed. I don't know what people are thinking is going to become of him. I think people are probably unsure at best. But like I said, do yourself a favor, go back and watch tape. Mitch Trubisky's not a bad quarterback. This kid he's good. He throws the ball over the field. And, like I said, put him behind a pretty good line and a guy like Najee behind him. These young wide receivers, this has potential to be a pretty good season, I think.
Well, and you got to think, though, too, in the NFL, there's maybe, 10 legit franchise quarterbacks, if that.
Yeah.
So we went from having one for like 18, 19 years. Now we're back into, like every other team, you're going to have your average to above average quarterback. And, we're just going to have to find a way to win. And like this team and this coaching staff has proved they won with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges.
Yeah.
And they should be able to win with Trubisky, even though like the other teams in the division have gotten better. And someone to say like the Steelers may have taken a step back. I think the improvements on the offensive line they made this year, like in the interior line, are good. I'm still iffy about the tackles. If Dan Moore can continue to improve as a 5th-round pick, or is he just going to be what he is, a 5th-round pick, he's going to be average left tackle. Right. A core for it, right? He is what he is at this point. You hope it pans out. But I think that defense is going to come back and be better, as good, or maybe slightly better than it was last year. That's all they need. If that line improves and then the defense can maintain at least, you're looking at, game or two above 500, fighting for a playoff spot.
I tell you what, you aren't shitting, huh? The AFC North is tough.
It is.
This might be one of the most loaded divisions, pound for pound, in the NFL, man.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny too. Yeah, like Pittsburgh and Baltimore, who are consistently competitive, always drafting late in the draft, always competing for playoff spots, and they're consistently competitive. But then you have like the Browns and the Bengals, who have sucked for years, and that's the only way they are good.
You're right.
And they finally caught up to these teams, and now they're acting like they're the greatest teams ever. It's like, it's cool. It's great that you guys are finally improving and playing at the level you should be playing at, but you guys really haven't won anything. Right. Cincinnati, you won the division once, went to the Super Bowl once. That's awesome, but you still haven't won the big dance like, Pittsburgh and Baltimore have.
If they would have went to the Super Bowl and won,
that'd be different.
That'd be different. Your name around,
you can talk a ton of shit after that.
You lost. Mm-hmm.
No, like the Steelers they didn't talk shit when they lost to Green Bay or the Cowboys. Right. It was like, we failed. Let's improve.
I don't want to talk about it until we win the next one.
Yeah. So the AFC North is going to be so competitive this year.
It really is, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about the NFC North. I think that anybody who plays this division is going to be they're going to have a tough time. Don't plan on coming and sweeping the AFC North.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Over the weekend, Mike, I don't know if you caught this, the Chicago Cubs. Now they were down by 17 runs. Yeah, they were down 17 runs. So they went through all these pitchers, and finally the coach says, you know what? I don't want to exhaust any more of our pitchers out. Let's put Frank Schwindel, the first baseman, in and let him throw a couple pitches. Frank Schwindel gets in there and throws, serves up a home run on a 35-mile-per-hour pitch, Mike. A 35-mile-per-hour pitch. This is the slowest pitch in Major League Baseball history. 35 miles an hour.
Whew. That's why he plays first base. He doesn't have to throw across the field very often. Just stand there and catch the ball.
I did something like this in Little League.
Uh-huh.
I was I played 8 different positions, and any of them wasn't a pitcher. That was the one position I didn't play.
Yeah.
So I used to say to my coach all the time, "Come on, let me pitch, because you're a kid.
Everyone wants to pitch, yeah."
So I get in there finally at the end of the year, and it was a game that really didn't mean anything anymore. And I fucking freaked out, dude. I freaked out, and it was almost the same thing as like him. I lost confidence in all my ability to do anything athletic. Yeah. And I was just kind of like lobbing them in because I wanted the ball to at least go across the plate.
Yeah.
And I just remember the guys were crushing. They were crushing my pitches, man. One pitch went all the way to the fence, and it was just
it was like batting practice, man.
It was like batting practice. I remember the catcher coming out and he was like, dude, you're literally like just lobbing them over the plate. And I freaked out. You know what I mean? There was nothing that I could have did different at that point because I you know what I mean?
You had the mental block of, I just want to get it over the plate. I don't care how it gets there.
Yes. So I feel this guy's pain. However, 35 miles an hour, the
Woo.
slowest pitch in Major League Baseball history. I thought that was kind of a funny sports story.
Hey, he made the record books.
He
That's all they
made the
ask.
record.
That's all. Hey, did you play baseball? Yeah, man. I made it to the show. I'm in the history books for what? Oh man, you got to go look that up. That's not something you're going to tell everyone.
You're right.
I served up the slowest pitch for a home run ever.
All right. Let's go over here. Let's talk about something different. Kenny Chesney in Pittsburgh over the weekend, Mike. Did you go see Kenny Chesney?
No. I hate country music. It is terrible. It is god awful. Anyone who listens to it, I question you. I'm not a music snob or anything, no. But no, I'm not a fan of country music, not a fan of Kenny Chesney. My boss, apparently, he went and he said, I'm rednecking it up. I busted out the jean shorts. I'm like, I do not know you. I do not want to work for you anymore. But no, I did not make it to Kenny Chesney.
But Kenny Chesney, he was on the north side this weekend, a big concert. The place was packed with people, just like it usually is every time this gentleman comes. I don't know what the big deal is. I'm not a country music guy either, but for some reason, when Kenny Chesney shows up, people go.
Well, wasn't he the last time he came through? Like they left all the fans, left all the trash everywhere, just tore up the whole place.
I think that was him.
Yeah.
Myself the other day, I thought, was it Kenny Chesney or is there another one like him? However, the next story I have may answer that question. Toby Keith has stomach cancer. Now, it may have been Toby Keith, but you know what? Kenny Chesney really sounds right, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me either from their fans. That's what country music fans do. They come in, right. They are we go old country boy. Leave my chaw everywhere and leave my Bud Light everywhere. I think I just lost us like 8,500 subscribers on that one.
That's all right. They know they sound like that.
And I know how I sound like.
So, Toby Keith is diagnosed with stomach cancer, which I don't have a whole lot to talk about because I don't know much about him or I don't know much about his music. However, it does relate to Justin Bieber having the Ramsay-Hunt syndrome.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So these kind of, where I'm going with this is this kind of follows suit to what the hell's going on in this world. I mean, the way that celebrities are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
People are dropping like flies. Toby Keith has stomach cancer. Justin Bieber, his face is paralyzed. The other one that really draws my concern, Mike, is the sudden adult death syndrome. Now, the sudden adult death syndrome is basically them just saying, you know what, you could die. And one might say, well, what's the reason? Well, because you're an adult and there's a thing called sudden adult death syndrome now. So, apparently anybody could just kick it at any given moment, despite, whatever their health is, wherever they're from, whatever they're doing. What's going on, man?
I'm trying not to laugh, but sudden adult death syndrome. How'd he die? He had the SADS. I didn't realize he was depressed. No, he was not depressed. He had sudden adult death syndrome. He had the SADS.
Very true. Very true. He was sad.
He was SADS. SIDS and SADS. That's just kind of freaky that you just boom die for like, yeah. Oh, he was just an adult, so he died.
That's the reason. People say, well, why? Why did he die? Give me some answers. Well, because he was an adult. So apparently it's more, the numbers are higher for people under 40. So if you're under 40, you are more.
Oh, we're safe.
Dying from SADS. So I am just blowing past that. I have a birthday in less than a month, and that birthday guarantees me safety in the whole world of SADS.
Me too. I'm good. I'm on the right side of 40. Never thought I'd say that, but I'm on the right side of old 40. What are you doing, kid? This is not your show. This is our show.
You want to hear? All right. Remember we were talking. All right. Another one. Remember we were talking about the elephant earlier at the zoo?
Yeah.
Tell me this. Have you heard this one? Elephant kills 70-year-old woman.
Yes.
The elephant
I saw
returns
this one.
to trample her corpse at the funeral in India.
Yeah, I've read up on this one because I saw this yesterday. I was going to send it to you, and I forgot. I'm glad you caught it. Yeah, apparently in that state in India, there's a huge thing where elephants are killing people. Normally, I think it's because like due to loss of habitat and humans encroaching on their territory, and they're defensive, and they kind of elephants will remember you if you're good to them, not good to them. They know. So this lady had to have done something to this elephant for him or her to trample you to death and then show up at your funeral and rip you off the funeral pyre and trample you some more. That is like a vendetta.
That's some gangster shit. You know what I'm saying?
That is too.
Yeah.
like
elephant in the mafia. What the fuck is that?
I was about to say this is something like the mob or like those hardcore gangs be like, damn man, we gotta learn from this elephant.
Right. I see that. I thought, then like you said, I mean, the lady had to do something. I mean, it was an old lady, whatever she did to the elephant, I don't know, but it sure pissed him off.
Yeah, because that's like you would think that something happened there.
Right.
Yeah. Because the saying elephants never forget, that's kind of true. They know, they can recognize, they kind of see humans as like their pets for the most part, because they're so big and we're just so tiny compared to them. So yeah, that's just wild. And did like a month or two, like a couple shows ago, I talked about how like these elephants at this wildlife reserve, they knew like this one guy would always take care of him. When he died, they showed up at his funeral and they did like their whole funeral procession.
It's funny.
Like they did like their funeral rites that they do for like a member of their herd that dies. They did it for this guy, so they remember the good and the bad of people.
And the funny thing about those elephants, they showed up in suits,
Yeah. They classy elephants.
Yeah.
This one was like the John Wick of elephants. Like you fucked with me, I'm gonna murder you and make sure no one messes with me again.
You're right. I just found that so fascinating that he trampled the woman. Or no, he killed the woman, and then he shows up at the funeral. And he's like, hey guys, I'll be right back. I got something to take care of, and just snuffle up and gets his ass down there and trample her.
And like the other amazing part of the story is like after he trampled her, left, didn't mess with anyone else, just bounced.
Right.
Like, I don't have beef with you. It's just this bitch right here.
Yeah. Do you remember the footage? It might have been about 20 years ago, maybe less. I don't know, somewhere. But do you remember the guy who was cleaning the elephant cage and the elephant sat on his head?
Yeah.
And the guy's head went right up the elephant's ass?
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. Look this up. This elephant was just chilling, right? And you see the turds falling out of his ass. And the guy goes behind him and he's scooping it up. Well, this elephant, while the guy's scooping his shit up, decides to sit back and he sits down. I kid you not. And his head went right up the elephant's ass. And you see the guy freaking out. He's like trying to push, and the elephant just keeps pushing down. I've never seen nothing like it, man. Anybody out there that wants to check it out, check it out. It's
wild. It's wild.
Like you said, the elephants kind of like they kind of run the ship here, man.
They do. They're like the elephants, the raccoons, and the crows. Once they all three get together and realize they're better than us, look out.
Yeah.
They're taking over.
Crazy. Another one. AI. All right, check this out, Mike. Artificial intelligence by Google demands to be recognized as an employee rather than property. This AI has started to develop emotions and wants to be recognized as an employee, not a property. And if you keep reading on, it just goes on about how this AI is developing human emotions opposed to programmed type information type things. Where does this land us in 20 years? And I think that it's going to cause a mess a lot sooner than 20 years. But where's this whole thing going, man? Why is there such a need to create these this similar image to mankind? What's the deal, man?
It's what we do. We search out. I don't know. Like it's like like, oh, look at this little stain on the wall. Doesn't it look like this person? Oh, doesn't this potato chip look like Elvis Presley? We look for ourselves in nature and in everything else. So why wouldn't we go about creating and an artificial intelligence in our likeness? It's what humans do. We want to create, we want to find meaning, and so why don't create artificial intelligence? Exactly. And I think this is how Skynet's going to start. In about 30 years, we're going to have Arnold Schwarzenegger showing up, and
get your 3 seashells ready, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be a crossover between Demolition Man and Terminator.
The second part of this story, Michael, scientists develop self-healing skin.
I saw something about that.
Skin for robots.
Great. Let's make them, immortal killing machines.
Yeah.
They are literally taking the plot of Terminator and just, what, at this point, fuck it, let's just do it. I'm ready for my robot overlords controlled by the elephants, the crows, and the raccoons.
Just fucking kill me already. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, me too. I don't know. Give me the sads.
You know what I mean? I'm pushing 50. I don't know. I mean, there's a part of it about all that's exciting to me. But on the other hand, there's a part of it that says, you know what, dude, you're almost 50. It won't be much longer. You know what I mean? So
now, what if they can transfer your consciousness over into one of these little robots that has like?
I'm not interested. I think that is going to happen. I'm not interested. Like I said, I hope to be dead, but I don't think I will be. I think we're going to see that in the next 10 years, to be honest.
I kind of want that. I think it would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I just don't want something to get fucked up and they discover a way to make us live forever while I'm in that position, because I don't want to have nothing to do with that. If they get our head or mind inside of a fucking other thing and they put our body in some kind of capsule like you see, I want, just let me fucking go. I don't want to have nothing to do with this.
Just transfer my consciousness over to a robot and just let me go. Let me have fun.
You'll be stuck in this fucking robot body for 900 fucking years. I don't know. There's just something about it.
It's like new technology. It's easy to hack. So all the hackers would be messing with you. That would be kind of fun though. At that point, I'd be like, screw it. Just give me your best shot.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of sketchy on the whole situation. Perhaps when it happens and if it looks really awesome and there's a lot of advantages and it's not as terrible as I think that it probably will be, I maybe get involved in some capacity. But like I said, I'm not super thrilled. I like technology. I like the new things that come up all the time. I like the way they make things convenient.
Yeah.
But once you start uploading our brains, our minds into something else, a foreign body, you can leave me out. Like I said, I'm pushing 50. I'm not interested in living forever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Another one. Earthworms on steroids, Mike. Earthworms on steroids. Jumping worms are spreading like wild in Connecticut. Now, these worms, again, the headline was earthworms on steroids. Imagine walking down the street. Usually you see a worm either walk around and step on it, kick it to the side of the sidewalk. What if it starts, jumps up and starts chasing you?
Earthworms on steroids in Connecticut. All I can think of is, what the hell is Vince McMahon doing? Is that going to be Roman Reigns' next opponent? A bunch of earthworms. Undertaker's coming out of retirement one more time. He's going to get.
They had like the edge heads and somebody's gonna have a bunch of worms as his crew.
Yeah, that's all I could think of is. Imagine trying to put one of those on a fishing hook to go fishing with. They'd be like, "Nah, man, just throw me in there. I'll bring the fish to you." I mean, wrapping itself around a fish, bringing it up. Yeah. Like, there you go, bitch. There's your fish. Now put me back. Try and cut me in half, motherfucker. I dare you. I beat your ass.
What the hell would we have talked about 20 years from now, 20 years ago on the show, huh? Jeez.
Nothing as exciting as earthworms on steroids. Man, are they in the gym like pumping iron?
They must be. Maybe it's from the they're getting water from the drainage from the WWE and things like that.
Yeah, could be.
Another one. This is an older one. Well, I mean, last week we just didn't have the time. We didn't have the time to touch on it. So I'm sure you've seen it. I thought it was funny because of where we're from. 2 people fell into a chocolate tank while doing maintenance at the Mars Wrigley plant in Elizabethtown.
Whew.
2 guys working on something. They're working on something, and they fall into the chocolate tank. Now, I know from watching Willy Wonka as a kid, this has always been one of my dreams. I always wanted to fall into that tank of chocolate ever since that kid fell in and tube. You know the dude.
Yeah.
That has always been one of my dreams in my whole entire life. I mean, you can even talk to people that I've known in the past, and they'll tell you that I have this weird on-running dream of having a candy castle one day. Very similar to Willy Wonka. It has to be insanely out of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of my dreams has always been to swim about in the chocolate, the chocolate vats. My question is, I mean, it's dangerous. They had to get saved. You know what I mean? You start inhaling and ingesting. And,
it's like drowning in chocolate, and you figure that chocolate's gonna pull you down.
Yeah,
just the weight of it is gonna just suck you in. It's not like water where you can just like, oh, okay, cool, I can swim in this. That stuff's gonna pull you down, and you figure with all your work clothes on and maybe they're wearing boots and stuff. That's just gonna all that extra weight's just gonna pull you down. That would suck.
What if that be? Would you rather die by falling into a chocolate vat and suffocating, or die from the sudden adult death syndrome?
Give me SADS, because I'm not a big chocolate guy. I like a little bit of chocolate. Too much chocolate, nah. I just give me the SADS.
I tell you what, you didn't out hating chocolate after that fucking event.
Oh yeah, you see having flashbacks of falling in that shit. Hell no. Nope.
Another one. I think you'll like this one, Mike. I forget what it was last week. I think we had a story where I think what it was the guy at Little Caesars punched another guy and killed him.
Yeah.
I got another Little Caesars story. You ready for this one?
Oh, I'm always ready for a Little Caesars story.
Woman accused of shooting a Little Caesars manager who refused to rehire her after he fired her. This guy fired this chick, and she wanted her job back and asked for it, and he refused, so she shot him.
Like, she totally skipped HR and went right to vengeance.
Yes.
That's, maybe there was a reason you were fired, lady, and I think you were justified in being fired.
Yeah.
If that's how you handle being let go from a place, sue the place or something, try something. You don't just go in guns a-blazing, I want my job back. That's not going to help you get another job.
And that's another thing, Mike. I mean, it's obviously shooting season. If you pay attention to the world around us, every year in the spring, this gets real bad with the shooting, and everybody's shooting each other and shooting things up. At what point in life does that where your mind becomes what you're, you know what I mean? Like, so many people.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking, I'm not even, touching on the gun topic. I'm just talking about the, people. Why all of a sudden do you want fucking people dead? You know what I mean? Is life that fucking bad for you? And if it
exactly,
is,
you're right.
It makes it not as bad, because you shouldn't want to fucking kill people. And if you do, you should be a semi-decent enough, smart enough person to say, you know what? I probably shouldn't fucking pull out a gun and kill these people.
It just becomes I don't know what it is with people who think like that. Like, I get mad. Like, if I drive, like, oh, these people, if I had a gun, like, you say that in anger, but you would never just pull out your gun and start blasting away, because one, that's going to ruin their life, your life, their family's life, your family's life.
Because somebody pulls out in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, that's the difference between you and somebody who's out there shooting people. You said to yourself, somebody pulled out in front of me. Why do I want to ruin this guy's family's life? Yeah. Why do I want to ruin my son's life? Why don't people have common sense, man? I just don't understand why they're so quick to change their whole life over one situation.
People are just too hot-headed, too too quick to act of violence anymore.
Yeah.
It's just because everyone thinks like you should just be able to, I don't know, anyone disagrees with you, you should be able to kill them, hurt them just because, they made you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Or they told you were wrong or told you no. It's just, society is just, I don't know, people are just stupid.
Maybe mommy and daddy were fucking dumbasses. You know what I mean? Maybe, just maybe, we don't ever say that. Maybe mommy and daddy were fucking dumb and stupid, and they didn't have a fucking ounce of sense in their head. They can't teach you not to fucking shoot and kill anybody.
Exactly.
Another one. New York is no longer the king of rats. The most infested city. The most infested city in the United States of America is Chicago. Chicago took the #1 spot from New York. They are the city that's most infested with rats in our land.
You got to go where, the food is. I think they were tired of eating New York style pizza, and they're like, you know what? We want to try out this deep dish. Let's go, boys. So
I couldn't agree more.
I think that's what it was. And they're like, dude, man, they dye their river green for St. Patrick's Day. These guys know how to party. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad. It's why I'm glad I don't live in like a big city. That's the stuff you have to deal with is giant pests like that. That's what, I hate my small town, but we don't have rat problems.
No.
Exactly. We don't have rats. We don't have cockroaches. We don't have like the bad sanitation stuff to deal with. Yeah.
Chicago sounds wonderful. Let me tell you. I mean, we can really go on about a list of shit that goes on in that city that would make me never want to go there. But the rats taking over. You got to figure how bad is it have to be. You know what I mean? If your city becomes the #1 city with rat infestation, they might be like the fucking jumping worms and the killer elephants. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Well, the rats heard about the worms up in Connecticut, and they're like, no, we're getting far away.
Yeah. But with all these freakish animals, that are
they're like, screw this, we're hopping on I-80, let's go.
Yes. Another one. Oh, go ahead.
You notice how the rats they kind of jumped over Cleveland because no one, even the rats, don't want to go to Cleveland.
Yes, that is very true. What zoo did you go to?
Cleveland Zoo.
Okay, just
it's a nice zoo. It was a nice zoo.
I believe you.
If Pittsburgh would have been open past 3 on Saturday, I would have went.
All right. The Airbnb. Now, remember last week they were renting out something. I don't know.
You can rent tents and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Now they have the somebody is advertising the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine is available for 3 overnight stays this month for $20 a night, the 26th, 27th, and 28th. You could stay in the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo.
So $20 at night. Then you got to find yourself a lady of the night that will dress up like Velma, and you're good to go.
And you can't not smoke as much weed as possible. I want to be as high as Shaggy when you hear Scooby talking to him.
Yes. You get your weed, you get your Velma, you're good to go.
Yes.
I dig it. I'd rent it out. Hell yeah.
I'd check it out. I mean, that's how it does. I mean, it seems really cool.
Yeah, I'd just be afraid, whoever I'm renting it from, they're going to come over and stab me. And then other people are going to come dressed up like the Scooby-Doo gang, and I have to try and solve my murder.
I'm pretty worried about everything anymore. You're not going to see me outside much. Anything is a fucking threat. I don't know. I just...
Ryan's gone full agoraphobic. He's like, screw this shit. I'm staying inside.
I am. Until things get a lot better. And you know what? At this time, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Also, there is... side note, there's also B&B that's a Moulin Rouge.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool, yeah. So
I'd check that one out.
I think we're gonna do, Mike. Go ahead and tell everybody about the website, and then we'll get today's game in, huh?
All right. The website is 2dumyinzers.com. 2dumyinzers.com. And I'm looking at the stats now. People are checking it out. Awesome. And if the links to all of our episodes are on there, YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, all that fun stuff is on there. You can go to our contact page. We have our phone numbers, emails, and all that fun stuff to get a hold of us. You have our merchandise link to our merchandise store. Everything right now, only 2 days left, 20% off. So you go to 2-dum-yinzers.spreadshop.com. We have 3 or 4 different designs up on there for your choice. My personal favorite, the Verbal Terrorist. There you go, 2dumyinzers.com.
All right, Mike. I officially lost track of what your record is. I have it here somewhere in this mess. I want to say it's 2-4.
That sounds about right.
Let's go with 2-4. So I'm gonna write that down so I don't lose track again. All right. So we have a question of the day. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. This is to get you back within one game, 1 point of 500. Prior to the AFL-NFL merger, how many times did the Pittsburgh franchise make the playoffs? Prior to the AFL-NFL merger, how many times did the Pittsburgh franchise make the playoffs and go?
Oh, sweet, my music's back. I think I'm confident in my answer. Do. They were almost bad as the Pirates back in that era. Right, buddy? Right? Yeah. What's that? What? Daddy's trying to figure out the answer. You got to help. Do you know the answer? Give Daddy a hint.
All right, Mike. So the question was, prior to the AFL-NFL merger, how many times did the Pittsburgh franchise make the playoffs? And what did you say?
Goose egg, 0.
Big goose egg. Mike says 0. So the prior to the AFL-NFL merger, how many times did the Pittsburgh franchise make the playoffs? Mike said 0. The answer is 1 time.
Oh.
1 time. Like 1947 season, they lost the Eastern Divisional playoffs to the Eagles. I did not know this. I would have also said 0 myself. 1 time they made the playoff. I literally heard this for the first time this morning while I was digging this up for you today. I had no
idea. Either. I was 100% confident they never won until the 70s.
That's what you know what? And I bet you if you ask 10 people, even from here in the Berg, I bet you 9 out of 10 will say 0. I had to catch up a little bit because I
you need all those zeros, all those.
I couldn't take it. I didn't have my buzzer button, man.
Terrible.
But hey, everybody, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode 84. Like Mike was saying, you could always go back. You could check us out on Spotify. There's episodes 1 through 84. Matter of fact, there's more than that. I think there's special episodes. There's all kinds of episodes. So go check us out on Spotify. You can check every episode that we ever did out. If you want to watch us, we have everything over on YouTube. Anywhere, anything that you want, it's available. Check out the website. It's all there. Don't hesitate to go check it out. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, as always. And for Mike, for Ryan, and for little guy. Is he still in there? Yep, there he is.
He's still there. He's still here.
We want to say thank you, and we'll talk to everybody.